question I'm most likely to hear is, how long have you been playing the piano? Well, I am 74, and my mother made me start when I was 11, so I guess I was in 5th grade. I grew up in rural Upper Michigan in a very tiny community. My dad was the pastor of a church of about 35 people, with about 25 in the choir, of which my mother was the choir director. And I became the church pianist and the choir director pianist in, I think, 7th grade, something like that. Before that, I sang alto in the choir, though I learned to sing alto from Mrs. Susie Ott, who sat one row behind me in church. So, yeah, I learned that way. My mother, we lived rurally, so the nearest town was not that far, but to find a piano player, they found me this little Italian man named Uncle Louie, and you know, I'm 11 years old, and Uncle Louie is bald and has a glass eye and a poodle that barks during our lessons. But he really loved music, but interesting thing is he did not actually play the piano. He was a barroom accordionist, but he knew a lot of good songs. And besides making sure that I learned my Bach and Beethoven, and he never actually played them for me, so he would just tell me when it was good enough to move on to the next song in the book. But he gave me lots of other enriching materials from other areas of music, like, I don't know, ragtime and stuff like that. But I was going to tell you, I was in my first year of lessons, and he told me, and I'm kind of a Mennonite Baptist. That's kind of the church it is. It's kind of narrow, you know. And he said, you know, I think, son, you're going to be a jazz pianist when you grow up. Like a jazz pianist? I didn't know really what jazz was, but I was pretty sure that I should avoid it. I was told to avoid all appearances of evil. And I mean, that's what cards and gambling and smoking and women, wild women. I don't know. I knew that I probably should stay away from jazz. But what he was picking up was that no matter what he gave me, I'd mess around with it and play it different than it was on the page. And I was doing that with the hymns in the church too. And the style of the music in our little Mennonite Baptist church, I'll just play a little bit of, like, I think it was like the frog in the water that's getting hotter, they don't really notice. Like, What a Friend We Have in Jesus is, I'll play it out of the book just a little bit, and then how I ended up playing it. So then, we had a lot of guest ministers and missionaries and stuff, and they'd stay in our little house, and they heard me practicing and stuff. So one of the ministers told me that my playing was worldly, and I'm only about 14 years old at the time, right? He said, you shouldn't play 6 chords. You know what I was doing with 6 chords? I was learning to play petticoat junction. So it's a bunch of 6 chords. I guess I didn't sound right to him for church. But one style, there's an awful lot of styles of jazz, and I've played a few of them already that were definitely jazz influenced, harmonies and rhythms. I'm going to go in the direction of kind of boogie woogie for this song, Rock Around the Clock, Bill Haley and the Comets, and I'll move into Kansas City. But I wanted to tell you about where did I write that? Rock Around the Clock. Okay. Bill Haley and the Comets made it famous in 1954. It was the B-side. And you know what the B-side is? Remember 45s? They had the one, so you know, the artist or the record label would say, we're going to play the A-side on the radio, and then people will buy it, and maybe people will flip it over, and maybe they'll like the B-side too. So anyways, 12 o'clock, or Rock Around the Clock was the B-side. Guess what the A-side was? It was 13 women, and I'm the only man in town. That song did not become famous. I listened to it. I can see why.
Thank you.